Hello, I'm Chris from the FPL Dude and welcome back to another Fantasy Premier League video for the 2021-2022 season. In today's video I will be rating your draft that you send me. Potentially I could give you some opinion and help to fix that team to get that perfect squad now for game week 1, as the deadline is tomorrow. It's less than 24 hours away to the deadline and to the first match. I can't wait. It's Arsenal that plays first. They are my favorite team, so I just can't wait for that game to be on TV so I could watch it. And now to move on to that rating. So the first team that I will be rating is FPL Rovers team. He does have very cheap defense to go for. Tsimikas 4 millions, Dunk 5 million, Kufol 5 millions. Then he has Salah and Mane both missing out on Fernandes. I think that this could potentially work out, but I'm just not sure if Liverpool are going to be able to dominate that much for both of these very expensive players to actually get himself involved in goals. But he got himself covered. If Mane does good, he got him. If Salah does good, he got him. The only problem is if in some games Mane outperforms Salah and you already got the captaincy band on the Salah, you will miss out on so many points, and potentially some other players are going to captain Fernandes or some Kane or somebody else for that particular game and earn more points than you do, even though you own Salah and Mane. I would try to balance the team out. Now you got 3 Liverpool spots, so if Trent Alexander-Arnold, Robstan, Jota, Firmino, whichever of them start performing, you will have troubles bringing them in. So I would suggest changing something out to actually bring in some quality defender from that team instead. Greenwood, solid pick. I believe that he will get few starts now for the beginning. Mahrez as well, very good pick. I'm just unsure for his playing time. He might just get rotated now for the beginning. Benrahma, he's very good player, but I think that he will get rotated. Then you got Ings and Antonio. I think they're both quality strikers and both should potentially be able to do very good. And now we got the next one is from the Miller team. He got Mesli on the goal, Tsimikas, Shaw and Dinger as the 3 defenders. Tsimikas is good pick, guys, 4 millions, and he is probably going to be starting now for the first few game weeks. Now if you intend to use the wildcard early, then Tsimikas is the perfect guy for you, but otherwise I would actually suggest for you to go for some other more volume defender from that team like Trent Alexander-Arnold or potentially even Van Dijk. The midfielders do look very good. Gundogan is extremely questionable in my opinion now when Grealish has joined the team. Kevin De Bruyne is fit and ready to do good. I think that Gundogan is going to be highly rotated. Now I don't think that he will get those 90 minutes every game, so I think that you should potentially change out Gundogan. Then Harrison is there. Ings, Harrison is a good pick, 6 million starter that could potentially do very good. And then Ings and Firmino. Firmino is very expensive and very questionable. I would suggest for you to go for some other like Calvert-Lewin potentially if he's fit. You could potentially go for Antonio. You could potentially go for Wilson, Tone. There are so many other players that are just not in the same price range that cost less than Firmino but have higher quality to do good. Because Firmino might just get rotated with Jota and miss out on those minutes. Yes, let's move on now to the next one. It's the FPL Flare. Hello, mate. He got 442 for this one. His goalkeeper Sanchez is the one that everybody should have in their team. He does have Alexander-Arnold. As I said, man, does need him. Kufol, he's a player that I have in my team as well. Shaw as well, very good player. But to go and start with White, I think it's a bit questionable, even though White might be the player that is going to play those 90 minutes, and they do play against Brentford, so they do have pretty good clean sheet potential. I admire that he go for White, a player that could potentially do good. As for those midfielders, now he does have Mahrez. Mahrez is a player that has very good quality, but I think that he might just get rotated a bit. He's not a guaranteed starter, but even though he's not a guaranteed starter, he is a very quality player to go for. Then you got Sar. Sarri is a very good player himself as well, costing 6 millions, one of the players that has that guarantee starting place for that team. He's very attacking minded as well. And Salah is the most essential player that everybody needs in their team. And then a surprise, instead of Fernandes, he does seem to have Mane. I believe that Mane does have very good potential to do good, but I'm just too afraid to miss out on Fernandes. I think that you should probably bring in some Manchester United offensive players. You just can't miss out on that in-form fire attack. For those strikers, Ings and Antonio, total full quality. I really want to find a way to bring Ings to my team as well, as Aston Villa does have pretty good fixtures. We move on now to the next one, guys. The next one is Robstan. Hello, mate. Hello, Rob. He does choose to go for 5-3-2. Now, I just first of all need to criticize the way of the formation. Defenders does not have that high roof, guys. Fernandes could potentially score a hat-trick, Salah could potentially score a hat-trick, Barnes could potentially score a hat-trick, Ings and Antonio could potentially score a hat-trick. Do you see where I'm going? But Shaw, I don't think that he will score a hat-trick this season. Neither Alexander, neither Kufol, neither Tsimakis, neither Target, even though they're very cheap. So you could potentially go for some other strong players, but I have seen teams that already have Fernandes, Salah, Barnes, Ings, Antonio, like myself. Like I plan to have my team. And still have like Rafinha or Wilson or some other players that could potentially do better than Target or Tsimakis to be used as starters. So you could potentially change to 4-4-2, but I would highly recommend for you to go for 3-4-3 and just find a way for those players, for those quality starters, while downgrading your bench, as you do not need more than, I don't know, 11 starting guarantee starters and 1 or 2 on the bench players, just cheap players, just to be able to replace them. Next one, we got legendary Greg. Sanchez is on this goal. Tsimakis, Target, Shaw seem to be the 3 defenders. Tsimakis, as I've said, quality. Many have him. I believe that I might even go for him as well, as he tend to use early wildcard. Target is there too. I think that I have him on my latest draft. I might just change him out, as I don't see him fit for the price he is. It's 5 millions, but very good player. He's a fullback at Aston Villa that could potentially do good himself as well. For those midfielders, Barnes, Greenwood, Salah, Fernandes and Ziyech. Now you have made a very good combination of midfielders except for Ziyech. I think that Ziyech is an excellent backup player, but that's all. He's not a guarantee starter. They do have Pulisic, they do have Werner, they do have Havertz, they did bought Lukaku right now. Ziyech is nowhere near that potential to be actually playing for the first team, guys, so Ziyech should not be involved in your first team as well. Antonio and Ings, solid strikers. We move on now to FPL Gunner Kutu. Hello there. Alexander Arnold, Shaw and Target, quality defenders, all 3, as I've said, Barnes, Rafinha, Willock, Fernandes and Salah. Willock has it rumored that he will move to Newcastle. I'm not sure if that is official of what is happening, but if Willock has moved to Newcastle, now I believe that Willock is going to be one of those players we guarantee starting place, because he did had fantastic end of the season last year, so Willock should potentially be able to do good this season as well. If he now moves to Newcastle, if he stays at Arsenal, he is at very high rotation risk. And Tony, solid strikers. Tony did had a fantastic season last year. Let's just hope he repeats that this year as well, because I want to see show from the newcomers. Beckman, solid goalkeeper. I believe that he might even be a differential goalkeeper, as many of us will go for Sanchez. And next up, I think that something happened here. Sorry. Okay, let's go to the next one now. It's Utd Regime. Schmeichel is on the goal, Alexander Arnold, White and Shaw are the 3 defenders. I believe that White is very questionable to own as a first team defender. You could potentially upgrade him to Dinge, you could potentially upgrade him to Kufol, Cresswell, so many other defenders that are just worth 0.5 or 1 million more. As for your midfielders, I believe that you have Greenwood, Salah, Pepe, Fernandes and Sarr. Sarr is quality, Fernandes is quality, Pepe is very good player, but he just might not be a guarantee starter. Arsenal are getting through a lot of changes now, have been getting through a lot of changes lately. They are my favorite team, and I am with certainty can say that nobody has that 100 starting guarantee place. Not even Aubameyang, not even Saka, guys. Wilson and Antonio, quality strikers, both have quality fixtures to begin with, good fixtures. I mean, they could potentially score a couple of goals in those ones. If not now, then when? So yeah, that's it. Next one is DFW King. Hello there. Alexander-Arnold, Kufol and Shaw are the 3 defenders. Barnes, Salah, Fernandes and Benrahma are the 3 midfielders that you have in your team. I believe that all of these players are quality except for perhaps Benrahma. I don't think that he will be the player that is going to have that 100 starting place for sure. I just wanted to take a look at your bench. I see that you have Eiling, so you could potentially change him out. Tony Ings and Antonio are your 3 strikers. I think that this has been one of the best teams that I've seen on the list. This and FPL Flare, I believe. These are the 2 fire teams, and I believe that you guys are going to be able to do good. While the others, you could potentially just make some minor changes to get that perfect squad now for game week 1. Next one, it's Helsing. I think that this guy finished in the top 10,000. FPL King finished in the top 10,000 as well. It's a bit fearful to rate these guys. Alexander-Arnold, Shaw and Target are the 3 defenders. I rate them all very highly, but I would have gone for Kufol instead of Target. Target did not show that quality offense last season. Well, Kufol did show that, even though Aston Villa has much easier fixtures and Target could potentially earn more clean sheet. I would just like Kufol instead of Target in my team as a starter, but Target is a very good player himself as well. Shaw, Alexander-Arnold, excellent. Rafinha, Salah, Fernandes and Barnes are the 4 midfielders that he chose to go for. I believe that each one of them is a quality. Rafinha might have a bit of a tough fixtures, but for that price you can't possibly get better players. It was Buendia, he got injured. You could potentially go for Trossard. Trossard is a player that could potentially do much better than Rafinha, guys, to be honest, but he could potentially even do much worse, so he's a big question mark. If you want to risk it, go for Trossard. If you want to play safe, stay for Rafinha. I think that I'm going to stay with Rafinha, as many other players we've seen today. Tony, Antonio and Ings, all 3 quality. Let's move on. Vam is the next one. He got 4-3-3. He got Antonio, Ings and Tony. Let's start from the strikers now. Antonio, Ings and Tony, quality, all 3 of them, quality fixtures, good fixtures that could potentially surprise and do very good. Salah, Fernandes and Greenwood, all 3 are good, but I just feel that he is missing out on so many midfielders. Rafinha was a bit questionable, but Barnes could potentially do good, and Madison could potentially do good. There are so many other bit more expensive ones that could potentially do good, like Son as well. He missed out on so many just to go for 4 defenders, but he does have those 4 defenders that I rate mostly out of all defenders. These are the perfect 4 defenders that you want in your team. I'm going to go for Kufol instead of Digne just to save those 0.5 millions, and as for my first bench replacement, I will have somebody cheap. Vam, very good team, man, very good. Good luck. The next one is DFL Denser. Beckman on the goal, Alexander-Arnold, Shaw and Timakis on the as the defenders. They could, Timakis could potentially do very good, but he could do bad as well. We don't know anything, we have not seen him play. I just don't think that he will be quality for the Premier League just like that, a surprise player like last year when Van Dijk was gone. So many others tried to replace his boots, but nobody managed to do that. I think it might be the same case this season about Robertson. I think that Tsimikas is going to mostly focus on defending, while Trent Alexander-Arnold is going to do the most offensive job. Is Tsimikas going to do good job? Is Van Dijk going to do a good job now after he makes a comeback from injury? It's a bit questionable. But to have him as a first team player, Tsimikas, I don't think it's the best option for you to do. You could potentially have him as a second or first bench replacement because he's that cheap, but no man, not to have him as a starter. Okay, we move on to the midfielders. Barnes, Salah, Smith-Rowe, Fernandes and Havertz. Everybody is quality. Smith-Rowe is the only one I believe might not be the guarantee starter and play 90 minutes every game, so he might be rotated a lot, but the rest of them do look very good. For those strikers, you get Antonio and Ings. I like both of them. I've said thousands of times they are both quality and both are expected to do miracles this season. Let's move on now. Stefan Apple, Steffi. He does have 3-4-3 formation. Bertrand, Shaw, Alexander-Arnold. Bertrand is a player that is a bit too expensive in my opinion. Without him offering that good of an attacking return, you could potentially change to Kufal, Dinge, so many other players that are at that price range. Even Target could potentially do better. Cresswell as well. Barnes, Salah, Havertz, Benrahma and Greenwood are the 5 midfielders. Havertz did show quality in the tournament, now Euro tournament. He did show quality towards the end of the season, went to Takel to cover. He did show quality in the Champions League, so I expect him to do good even though they have very difficult fixtures. To begin with, Benrahma, questionable player. Ings and Tony are probably the best assets you got in the forward section there. Yeah, Ings and Tony are very good to go for, guys. I rate this team 9 out of 10, mainly because Havertz has difficulty fixtures and Benrahma is not a 100% starter and you do have Bertrand in your team. Next up, we got FPL League Cock. Alexander-Arnold, Simakis, Shaw and Kufal are the 4 defenders that he chose to go for. Okay, very good defenders, but now he miss out on so many other strikers. Like he miss out on Tony, he miss out on Ings, he miss out on Wilson, he does miss out on Kane. Everybody miss out on Kane. We have not seen Kane in a single draft today out of all of these that I have been currently rating. Alexander-Arnold, Tsimakas, Shaw and Kufal are the defenders. Bonds, they are good, but you could potentially change to 3 because you miss out on so many quality strikers just to go for that expensive bench, guys. You don't need bench, you just need one good bench replacement that could potentially cost 0.5 millions than his minimal value. So if that's a midfielder, he could cost up to 5 millions, 5.5 if you got the budget. Or if he's a defender, then 4.5 millions is the most I would have as a bench player playing defender. Not more than that, guys. You want to spend your budget on the strong starting 11 that will put on a show almost every week and bring you tons of points. So yeah, that's a good team, but I would rate it 7 out of 10 because he does miss out on so many strikers. He does have both Fernandes and Greenwood and showing somebody else start to do good like Cavani, Martial, or potentially they bring in somebody else. You would have a headache to bring them in. Stabtrop is the next one that I'm going to rate. Now Alexander-Arnold, Target and Shaw are the 3 defenders. It just template like all other players. Fernandes, Rafinha, Greenwood, Salah are the midfielders. Ings, Tony and Antonio are the strikers. It seems like you have the most template team out of all players I've seen today. Fernandes, Rafinha, Greenwood, Salah. All of these players are very picked except for perhaps I would have had Barnes instead of Greenwoods. That's the only difference that I would have made to my team, as if Cavani plays, Greenwood should potentially play out left or out right. I'm not sure where he is going to play. If Cavani plays, I don't think that Greenwood will be guaranteed starter, as they do have Sancho now, they do have Rashford. Even though Rashford is injured, they do have a lot of players playing on those positions. I don't think that Greenwood should potentially do that good playing as a left winger. He has almost never done it. And he did not play that good as a right winger. So let's move on now. We got FPL. Oh, I'm just sorry. I just forgot to rate it. It's 10 of 10, man. It's 10 of 10. You got a perfect team. 9 of 10. Because you got Greenwood and Fernandes. Almost a perfect team. You need to change somebody out. FPL Welsh Dave is the next one, I believe. It's just the last one as well. Welsh Cardiff City fantasy football fan. Let's see his team now. Shaw, Kufal, Alexander-Arnold are the 3 defenders. Salah, Fernandes, Benrahma and Jota are the midfielders. Pretty template team as so far Antonio, Tony and Ings as well. Jota is the only questionable here, mostly questionable. I think that he will be rotated with Firmino. I don't think that both of them will have the chance to get that many minutes together, while Benrahma will get himself rotated as well. So yeah, those are the two questionable players, but beside that you do have very good and high quality team. And yes, just for the bench replacement, I see that you have overspent with 1 or 2 millions, so you could potentially even downgrade White and Beckman to some players to potentially upgrade Benrahma to Barnes or some other quality player that could potentially do good. Guys, if you thought this video was of any help, then please do give it thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if that is something you have not done already. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.